Hi there, I'm James Morgan, and I wanted to introduce my feature film Anno 2020. It's coming out on September 13. I wrote and directed it. We've got an amazing cast. We shot it around the world, in 17 cities around the world, but it was mostly during the lockdowns, so over 2020 and 2021. And it's taken this long to edit primarily because we only have a total budget for the entire movie of $6,000. So it's a rare indie film, a true indie film. And I think it's worth talking about indie, which is often used obviously interchangeably with independent, because I believe Anno 2020 is a pure indie film. And I think just coming back to this term indie, I believe 99.9% of films, I don't know about the music industry, but definitely films, when they're called indie, they're not. They're pretty much anything but. So you'll hear someone saying this is a real indie movie, implying that it's something special. And then you'll find out they have A-list stars, they have a major distribution company on board before they started filming. They have associated major studios, you know what I mean? Or they have government support. So really, when you unpack these style of films, and not putting them down, but I just think it's a very different position to what we're in, which comes with a lot of challenges, but in a minute I'll express what I think is a major advantage of being a real indie. So, these films are most of these so-called indies are dependent on the system, and they are part of that machine, if you like, and they benefit from the infrastructure, but their weakness, in my opinion, is they still, the directors, in particular, the writers and directors have to play the game. They're in the system, and the likes of Hollywood and so on, they are associated with those major studios, for example, are associated with big business, with politics, with the military, those types of things. So they have to be very corporate. Whereas if you go back and look at the history of that term indie, I believe you'll find it started in punk music, but it really took off in the 90s, or even, no, I think the late 80s. But those films were just people completely outside of the system, just very low budget usually, but people could just do whatever they wanted. And I think we've lost that for a number of reasons. So for me, this is a throwback to real indie movies. And so the advantage is, I as writer-director, but also my team, but from my perspective at least, this was a rare opportunity where I could say whatever I wanted about quite controversial subjects, in particular what may or may not have happened during the year 2020, because my film Anno 2020, Anno means, as many of you will know, but I'll just say it anyway, Anno means year in Latin. So it stands for year 2020, or translates as. So I never thought for one second, am I allowed to say this? Can I get away with this? Screw all that. Like, if we're a totally independent, self-financed movie, guess what? I'm going to say whatever the hell I want. And that's what I do in this movie. But also, I believe that's what we never had discussions behind the scenes. Are we allowed to say that? Is it politically correct? And this, I think, has infested our art forms, film, TV, music, and so on. I just think there's way too much of this. Not just political correctness, not just wokeness. I'm not just talking those things. I even think once you have major corporations involved, it's a nightmare. And this, over the last few decades, this is, as film becomes more and more corporatized, it's not empowering artists at all. So that's the, as I introduce this movie, that's the strength I want to highlight to audiences, is we are a rare, true indie movie. So check it out, Anno 2020, out September the 13th. Thank you.